What's going on, y'all, man? So we're gonna talk about signing day winners and the team I think that got left out that should have been in this conversation. Now, according to On3 industry rankings, they're ranked number 4, but I do agree a lot with this list. I think South Carolina did a really good job. They flipped Demola Ajudahan, who was committed to Georgia Tech. They flipped him on signing day, so big get for their program. Oregon, outstanding job. Decoria Moore still landing Dallas Wilson, flipping Naeem Alford. This class is excellent, and it's the number 1 team in the country for a reason. And Dan Lennon deserves credit and praise for what he's been able to do. So they're right in that conversation as well. When you look at USC and what they're building, Jakeem Thanos Stewart, who reclassed, an elite get for their program as well and what they're trying to do. Right. They also flipped Alex Payne, who was here in Georgia and Gainesville, and flipped him all the way. He signed his letter of intent today, and he's going all the way to California. That's a big get, big offensive lineman who's really good. Aaron Dunn's another one, 4-star type of offensive tackle. Another stable tackle I think will come into the program and be very good. And then Tristan Castro is another one I really like at cornerback, 4-star, ranked number 208 nationally according to 247 Sports. So a big get for them. Texas A&M does an outstanding job as well in what they landed. So I don't disagree. I think a lot of these teams are winners. They did a really good job. But one team they forgot about, and I'm going to be honest, how did we forget about Florida State and what they did today? They flipped Shamar Arno from USC. Then he was Auburn, now Florida State. They flipped him. They flipped to Sean Gelsey, who's a 4-star tight end, explosive, physical type of guy, tough to bring down in the open field. You know what I'm saying? Then they were able to retain Kevin Wynn, who was a big get for them. Georgia had interest there. I think Florida was in that conversation, but they was able to kind of keep him from Greene County. Big-time interior defensive lineman. He can clog the holes, get up in the middle, make big-time stops, big-time plays. And I know this Florida State team did not have a good year this year. And I know a lot of people are saying Mike Norvell should be on the hot seat and that they struggled. But he did a great job in just keeping a lot of these guys there. Mario Nash is another one, offensive lineman, who I really am high on from Mississippi. I think it's going to be another good get for this program as an interior offensive lineman as he continues to grow into his body. He's another big get for them, especially just signing with them with multiple teams trying to flip him. And then this is another underrated one, Javin Boggs, who was committed to UCF. Still kind of the same ordeal because I'm pretty sure he was recruited by Gus Malzahn, who's now the new offensive coordinator for Florida State. He'll get to be a part of that offense. That looks pretty explosive now. They're probably going to hit the portal and get a quarterback. But if I'm Mike Norvell and I'm their head coach, I'm looking at Luke Kromenhoek. I like what he gave me towards the end of the season. Did we win a lot of games? No. But I feel like he came into his own. He did pull off a victory for them. And I think he's going to be the next quarterback in line, humbly. So you pair that with a 4-star receiver, seeing who can contribute early for Florida State. Probably will hit the portal with some guys. It's going to be intriguing to see, man. But this was another big get. But the biggest get of them all, this guy right here. And this came as a shockwave. Like, if you in the recruiting world, I didn't see this happening. I thought Auburn in Georgia. Like, I don't know where Florida State came from, but it just goes to show you, like, this recruiting stuff, kid can be committed. It ain't over till it's over. You know what I'm saying? It ain't over till that pen hits the paper. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's the world we live in. And now these signing days, and I said this on my show earlier tonight, these are like negotiation periods, you know, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it. And I talked about Josh Petty on my channel and everything. And I was telling y'all, like, you know, it's some verbiage in there that kind of mattered, that was important. So when you look at it, like, that's kind of the thing that's going on right now. Like, these kids are negotiating last minute things like, hey, okay, if I get hurt, if I get this happens, will I still have my spot, or will I be able to bring this amount of money in? Like, now you're going to have to get guys like agents, you know, maybe lawyers, to look over these contracts and make sure it makes sense in these letters of intent, because now you got NIL involved with the money. And as a player, you got to uphold your end of the bargain if you're going to get your money and get paid. So it's key. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring that up as well. But this is such a huge gift for the Florida State program. I mean, you know, like, he was committed to Georgia. I thought a little bit of a crowded running back room there when you look at Nate Frazier. We'll see what happens with Trevor Etienne, but Dwight Phillips getting a little bit of burn. Bo Jackson, not Bo Jackson. Bo Walker coming in for the Georgia program. But this one came out of nowhere. And I think what they sold him on is like, hey, you can be that guy. Like, we haven't had a guy in a little while at the running back spot. Now, we've had, you know, they got a nice running back system down there, right? They got Cam Davis, who's really good, who was from Doherty. They had a really good running back early on. They got like a two to three headed monster down there. But now you look at Cromie, he can probably come in and spell one of those backs. And I think what they showed him is you can have early playing time, right? And you can get a chance to contribute. Now, we didn't have the year that we thought we would have, but we had to replace 17 starters or 17 players from last year or from the year before we went 12-0. Or 12-1, I should say, when they lost to Georgia in the bowl game, right? So I think he's saying, hey, come be with us while we turn this around, as we get back to the mountaintop of how high we were. We seen what this team could do under Coach Mike Norvell. Now, it was not a good year this year, but I think that was kind of their selling point to him, and that's kind of what they told him. So when you look at it, it's very intriguing because this kid's a superstar, man. I mean, he's one of the best players. He's going to be a finalist for Mr. Georgia, you know what I'm saying, in their award show this upcoming Sunday. So that's going to be something to continue to watch and monitor as well. You know what I'm saying? His team is in the semifinals here in Georgia. So, you know what I'm saying? This kid's an absolute stud. I mean, he can do a whole bunch of different things, man. Catch it out of the backfield, make defenders miss. Things like that, man. He's a quiet, humble kid to himself, not big on the spotlight. But when you see him, he could be the next star in college football. And I think, for Florida State, they haven't had that star at the running back position since Dalvin Cook, if we're being honest. Just somebody you get the ball to, and he's a darn problem. And that's what they get in Usman Cromie. So I think Mike Norvell and I think that recruiting staff did an outstanding job closing this recruiting session. Now, transfer portal is going to be interesting to see who they target and who they get. But you talk about closing the deal on the 2025 class and going out with a bang. That's what Mike Norvell and that Florida State staff just did in Tallahassee. And if you're a Florida State fan, you should be very encouraged. Now, the season didn't end how you wanted it to, but you should be very encouraged of what happened, how you finished out, and just these top-end recruits that's going to be coming to your program now. Outstanding job by the recruiting class and the recruiting staff of Florida State. And this is going to be a team probably right back in that conversation. Now, with the season they had, they might not be in the preseason rankings, but does that really matter? No. You know what I'm saying? Imagine at the end of the day how far you can get. And, you know what I'm saying, if you can make that run. And Florida State's going to be back in that combo.